Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the 97 Republic YouTube channel, where I react to UFC news, live events, basically just anything related to the UFC. So I kindly ask that if you enjoy the video, a friendly reminder to click the like button. If you want to become a part of this channel, feel free to click the subscribe button. And if you don't want to miss out on anything, you want to stay up to date, feel free to click the notification bell. All of this really contributes to the growth of this channel. I would really appreciate it, and I hope you enjoy this one. On this week's episode of Top Knockout Sandhagen vs Figueiredo edition, where I take every fighter participating on the main card of UFC Fight Night, Cory Sandhagen vs Deiveson Figueiredo, I look at their best knockout within the UFC. They only get one, otherwise believe me, it wouldn't be fair. Otherwise, this list would comprise of Jeremy Stephens at number 5, Jeremy Stephens at number 4, Jeremy Stephens at number 3, 2, 1, and he would be the honorable mention. I am not exaggerating when I tell you that Jeremy Stephens' knockouts within the UFC are diabolical. That is why Jeremy Stephens gets his own list tomorrow, so be sure to check it out. But anyway, every fighter, they only get one knockout, and I ranked the best knockouts from number 5 to number 1. So starting off this list, at number 5, Deiveson Figueiredo versus Joseph Benavidez. Now, Deiveson Figueiredo started his UFC career 4-0, went on a 4-fight winning streak, but in his 5th fight, lost to Jussier Formiga. But then, Figgy proceeded to go on a better winning streak, this time on a 5-fight winning streak, and in this 3rd fight of his 5-fight winning streak, claimed UFC gold. Because in this 3rd fight, was scheduled to fight Joseph Benavidez for the vacated flyweight belt, because at the time, Henry Cejudo, who was the flyweight champion, moved up to bantamweight and vacated his belt. Went on to fight Dominic Cruz, and Joseph Benavidez and Deiveson Figueiredo fought for this vacant belt. And on the 29th of February 2020, in the heart of the pandemic, Joseph Benavidez fought Deiveson Figueiredo. Now the first round, back and forth, both men had their moments within the first round. Figueiredo had that deep armbar, looked like he popped Benavidez' elbow, and then Joey doing what Joey did best back in the day, just scrambling, got up to his feet, landed good punches. End of the first round. But in the second round, it happened. They collided heads, a headbutt, and Joseph Benavidez got the rougher end of the stick. Looked like he was in trouble. Figueiredo saw it and capitalized. Basically threw a body shot, had Joseph Benavidez backpedaling, loaded up on his right hand, and landed a bomb on Joseph Benavidez, rocked his boat, threw him overboard, and then proceeded to drown him with ground and pound. At the time, it was devastating for me. I was a Joseph Benavidez fan, I still am. I really wanted him to win this fight, not because of the dislike I have for Deiveson Figueiredo. It's just due to the fact that Joseph Benavidez is in a category of really good fighters who never saw UFC gold. Undisputed UFC gold, like Uriah Faber, like Dustin Poirier. This was Joey's moment. I thought he was going to take it. Unfortunately, it didn't happen. And to rub salt in the wounds, due to the headbutt and everything that preceded that, Joey got a rematch and he lost again. But not discrediting and not taking anything away from Deiveson Figueiredo. An insane knockout, loaded up that right hand, landed it perfectly, had Joey basically go down, and then just finish it off with ground and pound. An impressive knockout for Deiveson Figueiredo. That is why he's number 5 on this list. At number 4, Santiago Ponzinibbio versus Neil Magny. So on the 10th of December 2015, Santiago Ponzinibbio ended up winning the first of what would become a 7-fight winning streak, spanning over 3 years. And in the 7-fight winning streak, ended up knocking down every single opponent he faced apart from Zach Cummings. Fought Mike Perry, knocked him down. Fought Gunnar Nelson, knocked him down. Fought Court McGee, knocked him down. Fought Neil Magny, and knocked him down. Speaking of Neil Magny, the 7th fight of the 7-fight winning streak, 17 November 2018, Santiago Ponzinibbio versus Neil Magny, in a fight where Santiago Ponzinibbio absolutely blasted Neil Magny's legs. Looked like an axe chopping wood, chopping down a tree, just chop. In the 4th round, Santiago Ponzinibbio kicked Neil Magny's leg so bad that it counted as a knockdown multiple times, to the extent where Herb Dean wanted to stop the fight. Herb wanted to step in and stop the fight, but Herb knew something was brewing. Herb knew he had to permit Neil Magny to stand up, have this fight continue, because a knockout was brewing. And this is exactly what Santiago intended. This was his game plan. You know, kick at Neil Magny's leg, immobilize him, well, take away his movement, therefore you take away his defense. And Santiago Ponzinibbio uncorked a straight right, straight out of Argentina, Buenos Aires. And absolutely, he didn't ring Neil Magny's bell, he blasted his door off. And it was so bad, it looked like they fought on 900 ping. Because it landed, Neil looked fine, and as soon as Santiago circled, Neil, just like a pillar, ended up kissing the canvas. Good night. Fight's over. Methodical from Santiago Ponzinibbio, going to the legs, compromising Neil Magny's legs, only to have him be a sitting duck on which he could tee off. It only needed one, and Neil Magny was done. An impressive knockout for Santiago Ponzinibbio, definitely warrants being on this list. Another straight right, we saw Figueiredo straight right, we saw Ponzinibbio's cross, just it's a thing of beauty. The right cross warrants being number 4 on this list. Then at number 3, Montel Jackson versus the Mon Blackshear. Now Montel Jackson is 8-2 in the UFC. And after losing to Brett Johns in 2020, Montel Jackson went on a 5-fight winning streak that is active to this day. Out of those 5 wins, 3 of them has been via knockout, which is really impressive, especially for a bantamweight. But in this 5th fight, he fought the Mon Blackshear, Montel Jackson versus the Mon Blackshear, the 13th of July 2024, and this fight lasted about 20 seconds and 5 total strikes. Due to the fact that roundabout at the 15-second mark of the very first round, Dominic Cruz, who was sitting in commentary, said that Montel Jackson has a really fast 1-2, and he didn't even finish the sentence. Right on cue, Montel Jackson with the 1-2 straight laid the Mon Blackshear out cold. Wanted to follow up. It was an odd sort of exchange due to the fact that Blackshear went down, he was out cold. Montel hesitated for a second, then continued to pounce, but the referee stepped in, luckily, early enough to avoid the super necessary. But Montel Jackson with the straight 1-2, just as Dominic Cruz announced it on commentary, it was perfect. It was perfect as you could get. It was fast as well. Blink and you would miss it. Montel Jackson and his knockout over the Mon Blackshear at number 3 on this list. Definitely warrants being on this list. I think it fits perfectly at number 3. Then at number 2, Cory Sandhagen versus Frankie Edgar. Now an honorable mention for Cory Sandhagen would be his knockout over Marlon Moraes, which I will show to you in a minute because it's part of the storyline, it's part of the lore. So Cory Sandhagen started his UFC career 5-0. Started his UFC career on a 5-fight winning streak, but then proceeded to lose to Aljamain Sterling via human backpack, but then went on a 2-fight knockout streak. Knocking out, here we go, Marlon Moraes in the first fight via spectacular spinning wheel kick, followed by a few ground shots to Marlon Moraes, just putting the cherry on top, and then fought Frankie Edgar on the 6th of February 2021. And listen, number 3 on this list, number 2 on this list, and number 1 on this list, all within the first round, within the first minute. Right, first minute, first round, first couple of shots, because at round about the 25-second mark, and after 2 total strikes thrown in this fight, Cory Sandhagen delivered one of the best walk-off KO jumping knees you will ever see in your life. Had Frankie stiff. As soon as he executed it, he knew nothing else was necessary, because he just walked off, didn't even celebrate, because Cory knew he did Frankie dirty. He knew that Frankie has a soft spot in a lot of mixed martial art fans' heart. And yeah, Yeah, Cory delivered it, and he knew he was guilty. Wasn't too eager to celebrate afterwards. Basically, just nonchalantly delivered the jumping knee and walked off. And that is why this is so good. It hurts because it's Frankie Edgar. It's beautiful because of the execution. Cory Sandhagen versus Frankie Edgar, number 2 on this list. And at number 1, Jeremy Stephens versus Ronnie Jason. Now, honorable mentions for Jeremy Stephens would basically include every single knockout within the UFC. I'm not exaggerating when I tell you this is why he gets his own list. And just a reminder to tune in tomorrow to see this list, because I genuinely need help. I picked this knockout due to the fact that it is brutal, but I could be wrong. There could be a better one. This was by far the most difficult decision that I've had to make with regards to top knockouts. Anyway, getting back to the story, getting back to the law. So, on the 8th of October 2011, Jeremy Stephens lost, which started a 3-fight losing streak for Jeremy Stephens. But then Jeremy played the Uno reverse card and went on a 3-fight winning streak. And in the second fight of this 3-fight winning streak, fought Ronnie Jason on the 9th of November 2013. And once again, reoccurring theme, very first minute of the very first round, Ronnie Jason decided to block one of Jeremy's kicks with his head, ducked into a Jeremy Stephens head kick, which sent him unconscious, sent him backwards. He was lying against the octagon fence, lying and waiting on his execution, because Jeremy Stephens proceeded. Now, what I'm about to show you, viewer discretion is advised, because Jeremy Stephens brought that punch all the way back from 2009 and landed one super necessary ground and pound strike. That is when I saw this. This was the one that made me feel like, ooh, yeah, that's uncomfortable. This was the one that made me the most uncomfortable. That is why I picked this one. But this is why they call him Lil Heathen. This is why his nickname is Lil Heathen and not Lil Angel or Lil Good Guy. Okay, it's because of this. Jeremy Stephens and his super necessary shots within the UFC, they could make a montage out of it. That's how devastating it is. That is why I picked this at number 1. Ronnie Jason with the ducking into Jeremy Stephens' head kick. By the way, already unconscious. He was already unconscious. And Jeremy Stephens decided that he's gonna make sure. You know, you could never be too safe in these streets. He was gonna make sure. And if what Dan Henderson did to Michael Bisping is a felony, this is a crime against humanity. Because we basically saw a public execution. We saw capital punishment live. So yeah, Jeremy Stephens at number 1. I honestly think that this is his best one. But tune in tomorrow and we can decide for ourselves, and all of us, which one's the best. But that basically concludes today's list. Let me know in the comment section, do you agree with the order? Is there maybe a knockout that I missed that should be on this list? I would really appreciate that. If you enjoyed it, also just a reminder to drop a like button. I would really appreciate that as well. Have a beautiful day, and I'll catch you in the next one.